In today's video, I'd like to just talk about borderline discards. And do people with BPD come back after they discard you? Hi there, my name is ajmahari, and I have 33 years of experience helping people heal and recover from BPD, NPD, relationship breakups, relationship types of all sorts, and also recovering from codependency, and many other things as well. Please check out my website at ajmahari.ca. There will be new information coming up there, much more in depth on BPD, NPD, ASPD, sadistic personality, which they haven't put in the DSM, dark triad, dark tetrad, what's up with BPD and this supposed, secondary psychopathy, or now they're supposed to be like covert borderline, malignant borderline. So much going on online that really, is it helping you? Maybe it is. But if you'd like to hear more in-depth and some inside-out explanations to a degree, then please check out ajmahari.ca for that, much more. And if you'd like to book a session with me, you can also do that at ajmahari.ca. Please, if you haven't subscribed yet today and you find my content helpful, please do subscribe. Hit that notification bell, hit all, so you'll get all the uploads. If you already are subscribed, you might want to just check your notification bell, because sometimes YouTube just knocks it into the none position and you're not getting any notifications. Borderlines come back after the discard. Sometimes people with BPD, your ex, might come back. Do they come back because they miss you? Do they come back because they're remembering all the good times like you are? And are they having cognitive dissonance like you are? Are they in a lot of pain? Do they have any idea what they did like what you know? No, those aren't the reasons that you get hoovered after a discard. And can people with BPD sometimes come back because after discard because they've worked really hard on themselves and they've changed? No, not at all. So, what's with this idea? Have you thought this? Are you hoping for this? Because really, when you stay stuck in the unhealthy bond and you're hoping for something to happen, that's only just going to give you the same experience you just had and increase your pain. You have to ask yourself at some point, why would that be what you're choosing now? And I know people don't feel like it's a choice. It's like you're in so much agony. You've been ghosted and or discarded. And then the question comes up, is this the final discard? How am I going to know? Lots of people can't know right away. Lots of people are with somebody with BPD, individuals with BPD in their cases where, that person, you might have patterns where they ghost and they discard and then they come back after a certain period of time. And those periods of time can vary widely across many people with BPD. This happens with males with BPD and females with BPD. So you can't always know what's going on. And then what happens if they do have a pattern and you're recycling with them, like they have their triggers and their issues and then they go off and they ghost and discard. And maybe they do that every 2 weeks. Maybe they do that every other day. Maybe they do that every 2 months, once a month, whatever. Lots of people with BPD have these patterns. And then you get to the point where, wow, now they've broken the pattern. What's up? Is this the final discard? And there just isn't any way to answer all these questions. And I really want you to think about the fact that you need to focus more on you to begin with now, but also if you've been discarded by somebody with BPD. But the other key thing is really getting into a healing and recovery journey right now. Even though you don't know if that's a final discard or not, is your borderline going to hoover you? Are you going to find that you hoover them and maybe you get ignored for a while and then all of a sudden success and they respond back to you? And sometimes some people with BPD do that just to go away again and not recycle a relationship. So if you're in any of these different circumstances, which is just like a limbo place, and you're wondering if the person with BPD is going to come back because they miss you, well, if you do get back in contact, which is not recommended, what's best for you would be to go no contact. But that is what people find the most difficult thing to do. And let me just also insert, if you have a child with somebody with BPD, then no contact isn't really an option. You're going to have to look at low contact. And that's very difficult. And I help clients to strategize around that and how to cope with that as well. How to cope when you don't know if this is the final discard and you're in a limbo place, because maybe this is the first time it's happened to you, or maybe, like I said, there's been a pattern. So along with needing to focus on yourself much more, you also need to be not more focused, but have your focus beyond that person with BPD in your life. Why would I say that? But please remember to focus on you, right? And get some help with this wherever you're at with this, in whatever part of the cycle with somebody with BPD. The person with BPD that you're dealing with is that person with BPD, and they're an individual. So despite some common patterns that most people with BPD have, lots of people with BPD, men and women, do not have the more severe kinds of behaviors or patterns, but that doesn't mean that this isn't really painful for anyone who's in a close relationship or trying to be of any type with somebody with BPD, let alone, romantic relationships. People with BPD do not come back after ghosting or discard because they miss you. They come back because they need something, or they want something, or if they monkey branched, or you broke up, or they discarded and they went on to be with someone else, then that's now blown up. And they often, many people, not all with BPD, will look back to the last ex. And if the last ex isn't available, the ex before that, maybe 3, 4, 5 exes ago. Not everybody with BPD has 5 exes, depending on age, etc. But do you really want to stay in that position, in that line of like, will I hear back from my borderline girlfriend or boyfriend or husband or wife or adult child or parent because they miss me? No, it will always be because they need you and because they want something. Because they haven't seen you, they can't attach to you, they don't know how to love you. They're not coming back because they miss something. They miss something you do for them. They miss what you offer them that they reject in the middle of you offering it and doing it for them. Think about that for a minute. It's straight up crazy making. I understand that. So the other thing I want to say is, so people with BPD do not come back after ghosting or discard because they miss you. They haven't really ever really, sorry for that, met you in terms of really understanding who you really are, how you emotionally feel, how they've affected you, and what your needs are, and how much you matter. Because none of that really translates with most people with BPD untreated. So they don't come back because they miss you at all. And then the other thing is, do they come back because now they've healed and changed, or they're promising, they'll come back promising in a hoover to go to therapy, and I understand it all now, and I get why this wasn't good, and I did whatever. And the bottom line with all that is, it's what you've been waiting to hear. And you're like, oh my God, yes, because this is the person of my dreams. You were still thinking, believing, and feeling, but somewhere inside you, you know that's not true, or people are starting to understand that's not true. And that's what's key for you today. Do you really still believe that this person, whether you're still kind of with them and going on, the up and down, the roller coaster ride, walking on the eggshells, or you were ghosted or discarded, and maybe there's a pattern there, do you still really believe this could possibly be the person for you? And if you do, don't you want to get into a healing recovery process to understand why that is? Because you need to know today. You need to know so that you can start to make better, healthier choices for yourself. So does the borderline come back or hoover you, or do you get to recycle with a borderline girlfriend or ex or boyfriend or whatever the case, because now they know so much more? It could be a week later, it could be 2 weeks later, it could be 2 months, 4 months, 6 months, you hear back from them, or a year. Do they all of a sudden, have they grown a lot? Have they changed? Do they get it now? No, they haven't grown, they haven't changed, and they don't get it now. And they'll promise to go to therapy, but you take them back and that rarely ever happens. And I have a video coming up soon on how can you even tell if that person with BPD in your life is engaged in therapy, and what does that matter, and at what point might that matter, and what can you do in the meantime. And why would I say You need to work with someone. I'm out here to work with you. If I resonate with you, you need to figure out how to let this go, how to do your healing and recovery work, because people at BPD don't come back from ghosting and discarding because they miss you. And they don't come back because they've healed and changed. But they can come back with intellectual knowledge that they can put out for you, just like they can do that in a relationship. And they can explain something about why they did something, many of them. But that's up here, and it can be transitory awareness at best. And if it's not in their emotional landscape, which it can't be until they go to like years of treatment and therapy to be able to find the lost self in BPD. So they're not coming back for the reasons, if they are coming back, if you're going to let them back into your life. If they're coming back after ghosting and discard, they're not coming back for any reason that you so want them to come back, or that you get really excited and feel super relieved when you get back in touch with them. You're just going to go around the same cycle again, only faster. It's going to hurt you more each time, by the way, and you're going to lose more and more and more of yourself. When a BPD ghosts you or discards you, they slam the door in your face. It's a betrayal. You don't deserve to be so disrespected, so unthought about, so uncared about, and call it love. It's not love, ladies and gentlemen. What you need to do is leave the door they slam shut. Get into a healing and recovery process. I'm out here to work with you. If I resonate with you, it is painful. I work with clients who don't even know if they're going to make it through the next day sometimes. And that's not people with BPD. That's people with codependency who aren't sleeping properly, can't eat properly, turn to substances, escapism of all kinds, because this is one of the most painful relationship breakups that can ever be described, let alone gone through. And you might be learning a lot about this and that about the borderline. But what about your individual specific situation with that person with BPD? I can help you understand that so much better and what really is happening. And if you want to, think about still opening that door to them at least one more time, or there's something you have to do for yourself, we can work on that. Or if you really just want to talk about it, so you can maybe start to work your way toward learning how to cope with going no contact, and learning why, even more specifically in your individual case, why it's so important that you don't stay stuck in this place of recycling with a person with BPD, or NPD for that matter, or going back all the time and still believing that this is the person of your dreams, because he or she, untreated with BPD, can never be the person of your dreams. And with all the damage done now, even if they could heal and change next Tuesday or in a year, which they can't do, there's too much already happened, too much betrayal, too much pain. You've already re-experienced things as a codependent from your childhood. And that's why you're so hooked into thinking this is the person of your dreams. This is the person you have to get back. This is the person you have to be with, when nothing could be further from the truth. But I know that people feel that way. Anyway, I hope that was helpful. I hope it gave you food for thought. Please leave a comment. Please leave a like. Make sure you subscribe to the channel. And also, I'm out here to work with you. If you really want to understand what's happening in your individual situation, and what can you do about it, and why am I so adamant that what's in your best interest, if they slam the door shut, leave it shut. If you need to break up with them, that's what you need to do. And many people that I've been working with over 33 years, I realize they come to the process of working with me because I'm very open about this. I don't tell people what to do. I just help you with whatever your goals are. Really important to remember that you probably need help and support and one-to-one education from an expert like myself to help you to even make these choices going forward, and to be able to cope with the agony in the meantime. And what does it all mean? Take care.